Hello, good day everyone. I am going to have another video for electronic spreadsheeting, and this time it's gonna be all about working with formulas. Okay, I'll be discussing some of the most common formulas in Excel, and actually there's so many formulas in Excel, but then I'll be discussing part of it, and I hope viewers and subscribers will do the honor to explore in terms of formula. Right, and I am hoping also that the end of this video I'll be able to share and discuss how Excel behaves in terms of formulas, right? And I would like to share my Excel window, okay, here. But prior to this, I would like to give you an idea as to how to create formulas in Excel, okay? Because for me, you have to consider at least three. Number one is for an Excel to treat that line as formula, you have to place an equal sign at the first part of the formula. That's the first thing that you're going to lock into. And then the second one is you can create formulas by using cell reference or address of a particular value, or you can use the value itself, the constant value. Okay, for as long as it starts with an equal sign. And then number three is, I think you have to consider also that all formulas must be written at the formula bar. Okay, so these are actually the three things. Number one, all formulas must start with an equal sign. Second, you can create formulas and make use of cell reference or address of a particular value or cell, A1, A2, B1, B2, and so on and so forth. Or you can use the constant value, 10, 9, right? 1 plus 2, 3 plus 4, right? And then the third one is all formulas must be written at the formula bar. And at any time of the moment when you are going to edit and do some revision of the formula, you'll go to formula bar and click. Okay, that's the three main things that you're going to look into when you are to create a formula. And the next one that I'm going to discuss is if you have this formula, how is Excel behaves. Okay, so we have this we have this three types of formulas wherein Excel behaves accordingly. The first one is we have this relative addressing, and we have this absolute addressing, and we have this mix of relative and absolute. All right, so I would like to open my Excel window, and I'll try to I'll try to give you an example of relative addressing. For example, I have 65 here, right? And I have 78, okay? I have 43, and I have 56, all right? I have 87, and I have 32, okay? So when I'm going to create a formula to compute for the sum of each two values per row, all I need to do is to start with an equal sign, right? Point your mouse pointer or Excel or cell pointer to your desired cell, right? And then type equal or include equal, and then you can use the cell reference, okay? The address of 65. 65 is placed at D4, right? D4 here. And the cell reference of 78 is E4. Okay? So you can either say equal 65 plus 78, alright? Equal 65 plus 78. Then when you press enter K, that gives you the total of 43. Okay, and you can use also the cell addressing or relative addressing. You can say equal then the location of 65, which is at D4, plus the location of 78, which is at A4. And never mind the small letter, because Excel will do the honor of converting it to uppercase. That's why when you go back to the location of the total of 65 plus 78, and by looking at the formula bar, it's now using capital D and capital E. Alright, so that's another way of creating a formulas. Or you can say equal and make use of your mouse, point to 65 and click. Right, then plus, make your mouse point to 78 and click, and when you press enter key, Excel will give you the thing. And same look at the formula bar, same result. Okay, so what is then the relative addressing? Relative addressing is this: when you copy this formula, right, to another cell, the row and column will change. Right, for example, if I want to copy this one, right, Control C by using the mouse, or right click by using the keyboard, Control C or right click, and look for copy. Okay, so I am comfortable by Control C, so Control C, and I want to point my mouse pointer here to have a copy of the above formula. And look at this, the above formula has now what? Marching black ants, meaning it's selected and ready for pasting. So I want to click here, right, and click Control V or paste, Control V, and now I have this 199. Why is that so? This is the so-called relative addressing. Once you copy this formula, and wherever is the location of your desired cell that you're going to copy the said formula, the row, right, and the column will also change. So we copied D4 plus E4 and paste it to G5, and look at here, the formula changes also, D5 to A5 instead of D4 to A4. And another way of copying also is point your mouse pointer here, right, at autofill button and drag. So when you drag, okay, I have now a copy of the formulas here. And the good thing with relative addressing is this: when you add another value here, okay, Excel will recalculate or compute for yourself. Alright, it's 58. So that's relative addressing. Another thing is absolute addressing. What is this absolute addressing? Okay, for example, you have 678. Okay, you have 9,007. You have 900. All right, and you are going to compute for the 10%. Okay, the 10%. Now all you have to do is to create a formula, all right, to compute for 10% of 678, 9876, and 900. So in this particular example, for me, I think you need to have absolute addressing. How is that so? We'll try to get 10% of 678. So equal, right? Click 678, okay, times 10%. This one, 10% is located at G3. Sorry. Times. So times, then followed by 10%, G3. And when you press enter K, I have now what? I want to emphasize this, and here, all right, I have now 67.78. And when I'm going to drag, okay, relative addressing comes in, meaning when you drag, the row and column will change. So I am trying to copy this, right, I4 times G3. G3 is actually 10%. And when I drag down, look at the formula. The formula changes to I5 G4. G4 contains 67.8 instead of 10%. So this 10% must be declared absolute, meaning whenever you drag, wherever you drag, 10% stays 10%. Alright? So not relative addressing is not applicable here. So what am I going to do is point my solve pointer here and go to formula bar and click. And we'll try to make G3 the location of 10% as absolute. How to declare it absolute? You can put dollar sign, right, before G and before 3 and press enter. Okay, so going back to our formula bar, the formula bar says I4 times dollar sign G dollar sign 3, and when you drag this one, okay, when you drag this one, it now computes for the 10%. 10% of 9,876, 10% of 90. Why? Because when you drag, okay, the only thing that change is the I4. When you drag it down, it's now I5. When you drag it down, it's now I6. But then the G3 remains the same. Why? Because we declared it as what? An absolute address. Okay? Whenever you drag, for example, when I say 3,000 here, I'm sorry. When I say 6,000 here, when I press enter K, my formula will compute for the 10% of 6,000. Okay, so that's the difference between relative addressing and absolute addressing. The third type of formula in Excel is mix. You can mix relative addressing and absolute addressing. Okay, so you can mix up this formula and this formula. Okay, the only thing that will make your formula or a cell address absolute is by adding dollar sign. Okay, so that's about formula. And while we have a lot of formulas that we can create out from the scratch, Excel is also offering built-in functions. Alright, built-in functions. And the good thing with Excel is this: when you type, for example, equal, then M, Excel will give you a lot of functions that you can use here. These are actually available built-in functions in Excel: max, maxa, and so on and so forth. Honestly, I am not familiar with some of the built-in functions here. Alright, and when you say equal S, then Excel will give all built-in functions that starts with letter S. Right? So when you say equal A, then Excel will give you the built-in function that starts with letter A. Okay, that's that's how Excel so users friendly. Okay, and there are so many built-in functions in Excel, but then I would like to discuss the three types of built-in functions, which I believe they are actually commonly used by beginners in Excel. Number one is text functions. Then the second one is date and time, right? And the third one is statistical. These three built-in functions, I think, and after discussing all these three, I think I'm done. All right. So that's it. And here I have created a sample, right, for function. This one are actually most commonly used text built-in functions for Excel, right? For example, these are actually the values, right? Jonel Dihilig, right? And here I intentionally put some extra spaces between Jonel Dihilig, right? Because I'll be using functions to trim down the extra spaces. Okay? So if this Jonel Dihilig will be converted to all small letter, all I have to do is to make use of lower. Okay? So here, for example, when you say equal lower, right, open parenthesis, make use of your mouse, click this Jonel Dihilig, which because Jonel Dihilig located at A2 is actually the thing that you're going to be converted into small letter. And when I press enter K, instead of Jonel Dihilig with capital letters, I have now all Jonel Dihilig in small letters. And if I want to convert it into upper case, then all I have to do is to use upper built-in function and click the value and then close and open parenthesis. And when I press enter key, instead of, right, it is being converted into all uppercase Junel D. Hilig. Alright? And look at this. My Junel D. Hilig here has some, obviously, extra spaces. Okay? And to get rid of those extra spaces, all I need to do is to make use of trim built-in function. Right? And click this value here. So trim, the function of trim is to get rid of the extra spaces. So I have now the same as Junel D. Hilig here, but then no more extra spaces. Okay, so that's it. Concatenate. Concatenate will merge or fuse two values or three or more, right? By using comma. For example, when I say concatenate, right? Concatenate this one, comma, and this one. Then close parenthesis. When I press enter K, I have now the two values, Junel D. Hilig and Junel. Alright? That's the function of concatenate. I can even edit this one, right? And instead put some vacant space in between the two values by adding this double quote with an extra space in between. So when I press here space and comma, when I press enter K, so I have now the two values, Junel D. Hilig and Junel with an extra space, Junel Hilig. That's concatenate. Alright. And if I want to display what is the leftmost character of my value, I can make use of left. Alright. And then click for the value and close parenthesis. When I press enter K, it will display letter G because the leftmost character of my name is G. And if I want to display or make use of mid, mid will display, right? For example, here using this value, and I want to know what is the fifth character of the value, and from that fifth character to three more characters onward, when I press enter K, I have here ID. What is this? Here. So another example. We'll say, for example, 7. Right? When I press enter K, I have D. Hilig. Alright? Why? Letter D is at 7th place. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And 2 more, right? 3 more values from letter D is D period and space in between. Alright? So when I'm going to say, instead of 3 characters, I'll say 5. When I press enter K, I'll have here D period G. Okay? That's how mid behaves. And the next thing is, what is the rightmost part of my value, my name? So I can use right, open parenthesis, click this value, and right, press enter K. I have now letter G. Okay, so that's it. And the last text function, built-in function, is len that I'm going to discuss. These are actually most commonly used built-in functions in Excel. Len will try to check for the total length of your name. So len, using this value again, okay, close parenthesis, let's say, and it gives us 14, meaning Junel D. Hilig contains 14 characters including the spaces. Okay, so that's it. And the next tool that I'm going to discuss is all about dates right here. So actually now will give us what is the date now and time. Okay, so today is 8/2/2011:49, and every time you refresh, right, time will also change. Okay, so time will also change. And then here, okay, look at this. From 49 it is now 50. So it will change. Today is what? It will only display the date. What is the current date? While now will display the date and the current time. Okay, so that's on the date and time built-in functions. There are so many, but then I only discuss the most commonly used two built-in functions. Okay, and for here statistical. Okay, max, for example, when I say 100, 500, 900, okay, and I have here 344, 100, and 988, for example. Okay, when I'm going to use max, all I have to do is to type equal, type max, open parentheses, make use of your mouse, click the left mouse button, hold on, move down, and to the right, drag, release, close parentheses. When you press enter K, I have now 988. What is this 988? 988 is the maximum value of the range, the biggest value, the largest value. All right, and min is an opposite to max. It will gives us, all right, using the same range, it will gives us what? The smallest value of the group, which is 100. Okay, average will of course compute the average of the sixth values. Okay, right, so 488.6667. Count will count the cells that contains integer values or numeric values. Okay, so when you say count, right, and make use of the range, so it will display 6, because the cells that contains numeric values are actually 6 cells. Count if it will check as to how many times a particular value is being used in a particular range. Okay, so for example, when you say count if making use of the range, right, okay, comma, then we'll try to check if how many times 100 value is being used. When you press enter K, it is being used twice. True or yeah, so true. I have 100 and 100. And if I'm going to change this to 100, when I press enter K, I have now 3. Okay, so that's the function of counting. And at the same time, the average changes also. Right? Because in Excel, we have this auto recalculation. Every time you change the value, Excel will recalculate for you. And look at the time here. Right? Instead of 1150, it's now 1153. Changes every time. There's change in here. And sum, alright, sum will compute for the total amount of a particular range. So in this particular range, by using sum built-in function, it will add all those 6 values. And I have here 2132. Okay. So actually 2132, when you are going to compute for the average, you have this equal average, right? And then another way to compute is you can make use of the sum. Okay, close and open parenthesis, divided by 6, because there are 6 items in it. When you press enter K, you will come up with the same average value, right? But different formulas in here. Okay, so that's all for statistics. Okay, and I would love to discuss logical operators, and, or, and not. Okay, these are actually things that it's nice to and also. And actually this thing are it can be used in trigonometry, right? In math. Okay, here this one. Okay, so what is this? Here, for example, when you say because AND operator is what? It's a throw oriented operator, meaning if both operands are true, then AND will give us true value. If any of the operands is false, then the condition is false. Under or is a true oriented operator, meaning at any time of the moment, if there's one single true operand value, then the rest of the expression is true, right? It will only become false if all of the operands in a particular logical expression is false. Alright? So not, of course, we'll do the opposite one. Not false is true and not true is false. Okay. So for example, we'll try to check. Equals and, right? And we'll try to check if this one 500 is greater than, okay, 100. And this is the first operand. The second operand is, we'll try to check if 98 is greater than 344. Right? So look at this. This is the first operand and this is the second operand. If this first operand is true and the second operand is true, true and true is true. Right? So when I press enter K, and gives us the true result. So if I'm going to change 988 to 90, when I press enter K, it is now false. Why? The second operand is already false. 90 is not greater than 344. Okay, so that's how AND operator works. And using the same, right? Using the same argument, okay? It's to 11, for example. It's to 11. It's 12 and 11. So using OR operator, and we'll try to ask if the same, right? 500 is greater than 100. It's first operand. The second operand is, this one is greater than, okay, 344. When I press enter K, the result is true. Why? Because OR operator is true oriented. At any part of the expression, as long as there's one single true condition, then the rest will become true. And in this particular example, each 12 is greater than each 11. Right? 500 is greater than 100. It's true. True or the second operand is false. True or false is true. Okay. And here, not, for example, when you say not, we'll try to check if 500 is greater than 100. Alright, this is true. Not true is false. Right? So that's how logical operator works in Excel. Okay. And you can use this in your spreadsheet. Okay. And the next built-in functions that I'm going to discuss is EBS. Right? Absolute. This is for statistics. Okay. Absolute EBS will give you the absolute value of a particular expression. Okay? So for example, A, B is, okay, and making use of this negative 45 value, okay, the absolute value of negative 45 is 45. Okay? EBS. And if we want to know the sign of 45, we can use the built-in function sign and make use of negative 45, and what's the result? The result is negative 1. Meaning, if 45 is negative, by using sign built-in function, it will give you negative 1. If it's positive, it will give you positive 1. So we'll try to erase negative, press enter K, and here, it changes to positive 1. Without sign is positive. And the absolute value remains the same. It's also 45. Okay? So we'll go back to negative 45 for discussion purposes. Square root, we are all familiar with this. The square root of 9 is how much? 3. Right? So that's how square root. You can also, instead of using value 9, you can use cell reference, the address of 9 also. So it will work the same. And the last one that I'm going to discuss is MOD or modulus. Modulus will look into the what? The remainder. Okay? The remainder. So when you say how much is the remainder of 9, right, divided by 3. Okay? You're going to separate it with comma. When you present there K, the modulo of 9 divided by 3 is 0. No remainder. Okay? When we say how much is the modulo of the remainder of 100 divided by 4, it's still 0. Okay. How much is the modulo of 113 divided by 4? The remainder is 1. Okay? So, more or less, these are actually the different and most commonly used built-in functions in Excel. We have the formulas that we are going to create from the scratch, and Excel is also offering built-in functions. Okay? So, I am hoping I was able to discuss all these things, and for some other functions, built-in functions, please do some explore. There are so many available in Excel, and you can use those built-in functions depending upon the demand of your worksheet. Okay, so I think that's all. Thank you so much for watching this video. God bless you. If you have some questions on this, please feel free to do some comments below, and I'll be willing to create a separate video for you. If you are not yet a subscriber, please click subscribe and do some sharing this video to increase my subscribers. Thank you so much. God bless you. Goodbye for now.